Welcome to Sharika Talks, Unraveling the Truth, a journalist's quest. Subscribe for the truth.
Chapter 24. The Tiger Behind the Mask. First of all, the most advanced intelligence agency in the world is not the CIA or Mossad. Sheela began, her voice calm but resolute. As far as we know, it's called VIDHUR. She let the silence hang in the room, watching the expressions shift on the four faces before her. I know none of you have ever heard of it, but don't you see the point? If even civilians are aware of a spy agency's existence, where is the anonymity? Where is the scope for espionage, counter-espionage, and deep cover operations? Sheela leaned back, addressing all four of them. Almost every major intelligence agency in the world has such factions. They operate entirely independent of their parent organizations. They have virtually unlimited resources, and they report directly to the head of state, the prime minister or the president. Over-exaggerated versions of these can be seen in mainstream media, films like James Bond or Mission Impossible, for example. This type of deep secrecy was pioneered by the Soviet Union when they formed an agency within the KGB. She paused, letting the gravity of her words settle. In India, she continued, RAW was first envisioned by Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and IB Chief Rameshwar Nath Kao after India's failure in the 1962 Sino-Indian War. But they couldn't get it started, either due to a lack of political courage or resources. Then, on September 21, 1968, the Iron Lady of India, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, officially formed it. RAW provided invaluable intel that led to India's victory in the 1971 Indo-Pak War. After that, Indira Gandhi decided to give it another layer of secrecy and power, and thus, VIDHUR was born. It's an acronym for Vigilant Intelligence Directorate for High-Risk Undercover Reconnaissance. But it's really a name taken from the epic Mahabharat, the name of the Prime Minister of Hastinapur, one of the cleverest men in the epic, and the word also means distant, symbolic, right? Sharika was speechless. She had read about secret agencies in novels, like her favorite Millennium trilogy, but never believed something like this could be real. Then, an intrusive thought crept in. Could he be? She immediately brushed it off as impossible. In 1970, Sheela went on, a young man named Rajendra Khatri was recruited by RAW. It was almost accidental. A high-ranking officer saw his acting skills on stage. Yes, he was a stage actor. In 1972, when VIDHUR was formed, he was one of the first to be transferred to it. He was trained in concealed weapons, several martial arts, survival techniques, and deception. He studied Urdu and learned how to live as a devout Muslim. In 1974, there was a combined intelligence exercise between the KGB, RAW, and Mossad in Russia. Of course, it was actually VIDHUR and their corresponding secret factions. Since Rajendra Khatri was scheduled to go to Pakistan the next year, he was sent to Russia as a final training experience. He stood out. In fact, it's because of a young KGB trainee who participated in that exercise that we are having this meeting right now. That KGB trainee's name was Vladimir Putin. The shock on their faces was visible. Even Riaz looked surprised. In 1975, Khatri went to Pakistan. We have reason to speculate, Sheela said, her voice dropping to a near whisper, that someone or some group, either in the bureaucracy or the political sphere, tried to sabotage the Black Tiger. That's why they sent that second agent, to deliberately reveal his identity to the Pakistani army. We still don't know why. All we know is that he was in direct contact with Prime Minister Indira Gandhi just before he was caught in 1983. We think he found something he was trying to convey to her. Indira Gandhi indeed tried to follow those breadcrumbs, and the very next year she was assassinated. Her words darkened. After that, no one dared follow this path, until last year when Prime Minister Narayana Modi instructed the Intelligence Bureau to quietly reopen the Black Tiger file. And they did find something. Sheela folded her arms. Khatri was tortured by various means for 2 years after his capture in 1983. India made no move to rescue him, at least not directly. But before her death, Indira Gandhi had indeed ordered his rescue and had sought foreign help for a covert operation to avoid triggering a war. Even after her death, the plan was carried out. In 1985, he was rescued from Pakistan and taken to Afghanistan. The man in charge of the border transfer was none other than Vladimir Putin. Pakistan never acknowledged this fact because it would affect their prestige. The news about their most valuable prisoner escaping would have even shattered their government. So they covered it up, making a fake trial and giving the Black Tiger a death sentence, and later reducing it to life imprisonment. And later, they added another layer to the drama. They forged letters and said they were written by Khatri and smuggled them to India. Her eyes narrowed. But after his escape in 1985, she added softly, Khatri vanished. No one knows what happened to him. Some believe he became a double agent and works for Pakistan. Others think he faked his death. What we do know is that attempts to uncover this truth are still being suppressed. Sheila's voice took on a somber tone. Last year, just after these findings were made, there was an assassination attempt on the IB criminologist who made these connections, Deepa K. Sharma. She survived and immediately abandoned the project. A spike of ice shot through Sharika's spine and the air left her lungs. That name, Deepa. The accident and the Fort Kochi incident which followed, could it be? We don't know if the Black Tiger turned rogue and planned the attack on Amritsar, or whether he stopped it. We don't even know if he's alive, but Prime Minister Modi suspects he is, and that someone inside his own government, maybe even inside VIDHUR, doesn't want these secrets revealed. Sheela drew herself upright. That's why he called me. He wants this story to come out. We journalists can go anywhere, be ghosts for a story. And I did dig. I've been at this for almost a month, calling contacts, chasing sources. I went to Nepal once, which took a huge toll on my health. The only things I could find were 2 names and a vague location. These groups operate in remote forest locations in Nepal. It gives them quick access to India through an almost open border and access to weapons and black money because of the less strict rule in Nepal. One name I found was Sher Shah, and the other is Rocky. It's symbolic. The ancient king Sher Shah's enemy was Humayun, from whom the tradition of Rakhi and Rakshabandhan started. So Rocky is symbolic of Humayun. My point is, I believe these are the aliases of the leaders of 2 organizations. My guess is one of them orchestrated the attack in Amritsar, and the other countered it. My assumption is that Sher Shah is in fact the Black Tiger, as Sher literally means tiger, but it can't be certain. She gestured at the files before them. I want you to split into 2 teams and travel from opposite ends of Nepal. I have marked some suspected locations in the files you all have in front of you. Go there. Talk to the locals. Make them talk without suspicion. I've attached a hotline number that will connect directly to the PM's office and forward to the nearest police or army unit if you face an emergency. I suggest Anuj and Farhana start from the east side of Nepal, and Riaz and Sharika from the west. I have arranged a jeep from the border for both teams. Sheela exhaled heavily. I wish I could join you, but age has its limits. If you find him, I will come. Her eyes glazed for a moment as she added softly, in the early days of my career, I met this man once. It was 1982. I was covering a UN peace conference. He was the chief of security for the Pakistani prime minister. I had no idea. He was a spy for India. The room felt like it was holding its breath. This is real. Now, ask whatever questions you have. The next 3 hours were a whirlwind of discussion, planning, logistics, and strategy. They decided to begin their mission the very next morning. Sharika knew she had to share Project Umbra with Sheela. She felt with every fiber of her being that Sachin was connected to all of this, but she didn't want to inform the others yet. She waited until the meeting was over and everyone else had left. The quiet of the room returned, now heavy with unspoken secrets. She looked at the questioning glance of Sheela. "Ma'am," Sharika began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I have something I need to share with you." Sheela listened calmly as Sharika told the whole story of Project Umbra, the tracker, and other findings. "So you met this man accidentally on a train and planted a tracker in his bag?" Sheela asked, her skepticism evident. "How can we be sure the bag wasn't simply stolen by a thief who is using it now?" In response, Sharika opened her laptop and showed the video stills. The woman Sachin talked to at the school games was a perfect match for the woman at the Kashi railway station, holding his bag. "I see your point," Sheela conceded. "But I don't think Deep Enterprises is funded by stolen idols. Their financial model is vast and elegant. I've met its CEO, Sukanya, personally. Of course, like all corporate giants, they may be hiding some secrets, and some of them I too know. Your instincts could be correct. He may be a lead to Rocky or Sher Shah, and the location you have might be valuable, especially because of the connection you made with Deepa K. Sharma. But that doesn't make him convicted directly, though he may be linked. If Riaz agrees, you can go there directly." Sheela paused, tapping a finger on the table. "I think I have a piece of information I have overlooked. I can't quite place it. I have to check my archives. Also, I'll check if he is part of VIDHUR, though it's highly unlikely. We can't omit that possibility. The temple visits, border operations, he may have been carrying out his missions. Even if he is part of VIDHUR, we can't omit the possibility that he is a double agent and was the mole in the system. You talk with Riaz and adjust your schedule accordingly." Although Sharika had never thought along those lines, she admired her mentor. Sharika immediately called Riaz and shared the new information. He agreed they should investigate her lead first. The rest of the day, she spent packing and reviewing the files Sheela had given them. Riaz called back with a plan. "I have a friend in Banbasa on the western Indo-Nepal border. We can ride my bike there. It's about a 6-hour trip. We can leave the bike at his home. Sheela has arranged for a driver named Adam to meet us there to take us through Nepal." She knew Riaz had suggested it because he remembered she disliked flying and wasn't fond of buses. She felt a deep, fatherly affection from him, always. And as a bachelor, he seemed to view Sharika as a daughter. Sharika woke at 3:30 a.m. She had packed her clothes, laptop, and camera gear. At exactly 4 a.m., Riaz arrived on his Royal Enfield. As they started the ride into the pre-dawn darkness, she decided she would ask him later if she could ride the classic bike herself. The last time she rode one was 2 years ago, a friend's bike from Maharaja's College. She always loved its elegant look and weighty feel. As they began their journey, more than 500 kilometers away, another man was also starting a long trip. He had just arrived at the Deep Science City the previous day, back from a long and grueling adventure in Pakistan. He didn't have enough time to heal his wounds or take the rest his body desperately needed. He had to act fast. He started almost immediately, heading towards his final destination. End of chapter 24.
Thank you for watching Unraveling the Truth, A Journalist's Quest. Subscribe to stay updated on Sharika's journey. Stay tuned for the next part.
Disclaimer. Unraveling the Truth, A Journalist's Quest is a work of fiction. The experiences, ideas, and theories presented by the characters, including the books they write, are purely fictional and do not reflect real-world events, beliefs, or ideologies. While some incidents and characters may be inspired by real-world scenarios, they are entirely fictionalized for storytelling purposes. The author does not endorse or share the viewpoints expressed by any character in this novel. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or real events is purely coincidental. Viewer discretion is advised.